Welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. By the way, a reminder, you couldn't ask for a better guest tomorrow. Danny Tarkanian will be joining us tomorrow in studio for the entirety of the show. Danny Tarkanian, of course, son of the late, great Jerry Tarkanian. He has a lot of opinions when it comes to UNLV basketball. He also has a lot of opinions when it comes to politics, so I'm sure we're going to get into it tomorrow. Danny Tarkanian joining us in studio, so you won't want to miss that. Of course, we're talking about this TJ Otzelberger new hire, your reaction to that interview, which we just played. Also, we had Desiree Reed-Francois on. So we're getting your reaction to all of this on both sides of this issue. Give us a buzz, 257-5396. Again, that number to call, 702-257-5396. Also, let me mention that Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports will be joining us at the bottom of the hour as well. So we'll be getting to him as well. 257-5396. Let's go to Cody, who's been waiting patiently on hold. Cody, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Doing well, Brian. Hey, I got to say, I'm proud of your interview. It was brutal. I'm proud of it, though.
You're talking about with Francois.
Oh, yeah, that was great.
I appreciate that.
But I do, as a recent graduate, I just graduated in December from UNLV, I got to say, I saw Desiree, walking up and down the rows, talking to students, talking to everybody, trying to figure out how to make that program better. So I really think she's engaged in it and wants the best for that program. But we'll see. I guess time will tell at this new pick.
Let me ask you a question there, and I'm not necessarily going to say you're wrong. Who am I to say that? You could be right. But if she does want what's best for the program and not for herself, why would she hire an up-and-coming coach? Now, it's not like she's paying this guy $500,000 a year, right? So you can't make the argument you're saving the university money. If you're going to pay somebody $1.1 million and be one of the highest-paid coaches in the Mountain West Conference, why not hire a guy like a Musselman? Why not hire a guy like Mike Miller? Why not hire a Larry Eustace? Forget about even hiring these guys. She didn't even give them an interview. That's what I don't understand, Cody.
I do. I wish that she would have done that, and she would have admitted that at least. But on the other side of it, I have to say, and this is my opinion, anybody's better than Menzies. He was like watching a sloth. Like the guy just moseyed back and forth on the court, and it was just, I couldn't stand it.
Wait, did you call him a sloth?
Yeah, he looked like a sloth. Every time I watch him, like, is this guy going to react to people shooting three-pointers where they shouldn't be? And, it's just embarrassing.
You're killing me. That was really funny. I will say this about TJ. It does seem like he's got some charisma. We need a screamer on the sidelines, don't we? We need a personality. I hope he's that guy. Yeah.
Get that out there. I watched some YouTube videos before I called you just to make sure he's doing that. And this guy is. He gets out there and he does. He gets in their faces and yells, and his face turned red.
I agree with you there, and by the way, you're right. There's not many coaches out there that we've taken underneath Marv. Marv did not do a good job here. I said it before. I was against Dave Rice for the time he was here. Against him from the standpoint of I don't think he was doing a good job, but I would have taken Dave Rice over Marvin Menzies in a heartbeat.
Oh, that would have been great too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can't do anything about it now, but I'm hoping that this will be the right one. I do think Desiree is engaged. Every time I saw her, she just was reaching out to people, trying to figure out what we wanted.
Look, she seems like a nice person, right? She seems like a nice person. I wish she could have at least answered some of those questions, even more so. I wish that she would have interviewed some of these other coaches. The thing that bothered me in that interview the most, was not the fact that she didn't answer some of the questions. I get that. When I talked about, why not give a guy like a Musselman an interview or a Miller, she said, well, she deflected a little bit, and then she said, I'm looking for energy, passion, and someone who's competitive. Are you telling me Eric Musselman doesn't fit that? Are you telling me Larry Eustace, Bo Ryan, Mike Miller? Are you telling me those guys don't?
That's why I loved your interview, how brutal it was, because you put her on the spot, and I don't think she was ready for that at all. And that's a testament to your interview skills.
I appreciate that, Cody. That means
a
lot.
For that at all.
Possibly not, Cody. She's been on the show before, but this was a different circumstance. This was in person, and that's what we try to do. We try to ask the tough questions, Cody, every day, and I appreciate that compliment. That means a lot. Thank you for the call, Cody. I appreciate it. Thank you. That means a lot when I hear from listeners that say stuff like that, because hopefully you can sift through the BS with some of these other people who are doing interviews. I don't do fluffer interviews. That's not what I do. That's not what we do, right? We ask the tough questions, and if they don't want to answer them, that's fine. Let's go to Marge, 257-5396, the number to call, 702-257-5396. Marge, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Fine. I really liked both of your interviews.
Thank you.
What I found interesting is I listened to them intently, and it seemed like they were both using the same terms, being energy and passion.
Mm-hmm.
So I found that interesting. It's almost like they're repeating themselves.
They were to an extent.
It was a little scripted. I agree.
I agree.
Mentioning Lon Kruger, energy, passion, 50-50 balls. Yeah, they definitely talked about it beforehand.
Yeah. And I kind of laughed at that because I thought most employers hire on results. They don't look for energy and passion without results.
Marge, can I ask you, when was the last time you went to a UNLV game? Have you gone to some games?
Yeah. The last one was probably about a year ago.
What did you think about the product?
I was not impressed.
Yeah.
I remember the Tarkanian days, and that team was had a national presence. It was really looked up to, et cetera. Mm-hmm. And this is just, it's embarrassing, to be honest with you.
I agree. I've been here 20 years. I've covered the team for about 20 years, maybe 19 years or so. Mm. So let me ask you this. As someone that has paid for tickets, I haven't. I'm one of those cheap members of the media that likes to go to events for free. That's what I do. But for somebody like you who's going to pay your hard-earned money to go to games, be honest with me here, Marge, and I know you will. Are you going to go to opening night? Are you going to go to games this year? Does this excite you? Are you going to buy season tickets because they hired a guy by the name of TJ Otzelberger?
No, he's got to show the results first before I'm going to put any money down.
And I don't blame you for saying that. I absolutely, positively don't blame you for saying something like that. So when you say results, I'm talking to a fan, someone who pays tickets going to games. What type of results do you want in year one that you can say to yourself, you know what? I think Francois made a good hire. I think I'm going to support this guy.
Certainly the win has to be, primary, but also looking at how he's developing his players. Mm-hmm. Maybe they lose sometimes, but is it a loss because it was close? Yeah. Is it a loss because maybe someone had a bad night? But he's doing everything he can to educate them and train them so that, eventually they become, really a national winning team.
So you would, if they lost a game and they scored 85 points and their opponent scored 91 points, you'd be okay with that?
Yeah, really.
You know what? There's a lot of fans like Marge that say that. I look at an NBA coach like Mike D'Antoni, right? Houston Rockets, they're not, maybe they'll win an NBA championship this year, but you know what? There's reasons why those games are always sold out because they score a lot of points and it's a fun brand of basketball. I guess if you're going to lose, you might as well lose and make it exciting for the fans, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. And one thing Menzies did was... those teams lost by 15, 20 points consistently.
Yeah. Marv was getting blown out.
When you're a fan, it's just hard to support a team when that's happening.
Marge, it's so good to hear from you. We appreciate the call. Thank you so much.
Great call, Marge.
The number to call is 257-5396, 702-257-5396. By the way, Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports will be joining us at the bottom of the hour. That's interesting what Marge said because, okay, let me put it to you this way. I'd rather have Lon Kruger here, maybe a boring half-court offense, but if he's winning and we're a consistent top 25 team in the country, I would rather have that.
Well, I think you have your fans that are looking at it for more entertainment and more who are actually looking to see UNLV win games.
Yeah.
And whether UNLV wins a game by 4 or loses by 4 or 5 or 6 and they score 85 points and there's a bunch of dunks and three-pointers, that is still entertainment. Mm-hmm. The last 2 years of basketball, UNLV basketball, that hasn't been entertainment.
I was drinking some soda. You're supposed to keep talking when I slug a sip of soda. No, but I agree with you. Here's another part of that interview with Francois. And by the way, if you missed that interview, I promise you by the end of our show, we're going to post that interview on our Twitter page at The Vegas Take. And I appreciate the compliments on that. Here's something that Francois said in the interview, JD, that surprised me. Okay, 2 weeks ago, when she announced, short of 2 weeks ago, when she announced that she fired Marvin Menzies, she said in her press conference, we want to hire somebody that is going to be able to stand right next to a John Gruden or somebody that is going to stand right next to Gerard Gallant. We want to be able to have that person in a room be able to stand side by side with those guys, right? That's I'm kind of paraphrasing, but that's what she said. She brought that up. She brought those two coaches up. So then I asked her that question today. Do you think TJ Otzelberger is that guy? And she kind of backtracked and she said, well, we're not looking for a celebrity. We're not interested in the celebrityness. But she's the one who brought that up 2 weeks ago. I'm not making that up. I'm not the one. She said it, not me. Did she forget that she said that? Let me tell you something. You got Eric Musselman, Bo Ryan, Steve Lavin, Mike Miller. You're damn right they could stand in a room with John Gruden and hold themselves pretty good.
Well, especially considering Mike Miller's 6'9".
Yeah, he's a big guy.
he's not a small individual.
He's a big dude. Speaking,
that was definitely a case of hypocrisy there.
No, it was. It was. And I'm not trying to put anybody in an awkward situation. I'm trying to do my job. I'm trying to ask the difficult questions. And if people do not want to answer those difficult questions, guess what? It's on them. Speaking of difficult,
it comes with the territory. Again, it's not like UNLV is a UNLV football. Okay, for example, has been to what, 5 bowl games in 30 years?
Yeah.
UNLV basketball won a national championship 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. They're one of maybe 15 teams to do that in the last 50 years.
Speaking of which,
This is a big job for basketball.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I did run into Tony Sanchez today. I said hello to him, and I said, Coach, trust me, I want you to win. I know I'm tough on you sometimes. I want you to succeed, and I do. And he shook my hand. He said, thank you. I appreciate that, and I know that. And anytime you want to talk UNLV football, I will come on your show. I like coming on your show. That's what he said. Tony Sanchez is an easy guy to root for. The UNLV football program is a disaster, and it has been for longer than I have been alive, quite frankly. It is terrible. Tony Sanchez has to make a bowl game this year, or is he going to lose his job? I think he will make a bowl game.
But this is how well liked Tony Sanchez is. UNLV football almost has as much booster support as the national championship winning UNLV basketball program with the Fertitas.
Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible to me.
It's incredible that the Fertitas are putting that much support towards a program that is so bad. But speaking of bad, why don't we talk about our president here for a few minutes? We got Mike Babcock coming up here at the bottom of the hour from TMZ Sports. Donald Trump at it again. As you know, Adam Schiff, not a big fan of Donald Trump. They're not fans of each other, okay? Adam Schiff made some interesting points in Congress today. And he said, look, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, I'm not okay. And he went on with this meeting that Don Jr. had to try to get dirt on Hillary Clinton. And, I'm not going to go over everything that he said, but in a nutshell, he said, look, I'm not okay with this. I'm not okay with meeting with the Russians and trying to get dirt on Hillary Clinton, this and that. And he went off in Congress today. And by the way, I agreed with what he said, because I think even though members of the Trump administration may not have broken the law, that doesn't mean they didn't do things that were dirty and wrong. And Schiff said he wasn't okay with that. So what does Donald Trump do? Does Donald Trump get in front of a microphone and say, look, I disagree with Adam Schiff. I'm innocent. There was no collusion. I disagree with Mr. Schiff. No, he didn't say that. You know what Donald Trump said today? I mean, you just can't make this stuff up.
Brian, what did he say?
He called Adam Schiff a pencil neck. I mean, this is the president of the United States, okay? This is not grade school. This is not a grade schooler. This is not me yelling at a caller. This is the president of the United States, Donald Trump, calling Adam Schiff pencil neck. Now, if Adam Schiff went to that level, you could certainly call Donald Trump a lot of things.
Referring to another politician as a pencil neck.
As a pencil neck. I mean, where are we at now in society where it is okay for the president of the United States to use second-grade insults? I get it. He's not a fan of Adam Schiff. I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. I'm also not the president of the United States. For that matter, I am far from a politician. And I know there's a lot of Donald Trump supporters out there that probably like it. They think it's good for the country. We got a guy that is not a typical politician. He just says it like it is. How is that okay with anybody? Now, this isn't at the level of what he did to John McCain. That just drives me bananas, going after a POW, going after a hero when he's passed away. That is another level of disrespect.
No, this is at the same level as his son referring to teachers as, was it idiots? Those idiot teachers?
I don't remember the term he used.
It was idiot. I mean, it was a word that you use a lot. Idiot, moron. It was something like that.
I don't remember.
No, loser. It was loser.
Loser. Yeah.
Those loser teachers.
Yeah,
this is kind of on that same.
Don Jr. referred to teachers as losers. Don Jr. also was asked, the president's son, who's a complete buffoon, when talking about the wall. You remember this? He compared a wall at a zoo to the wall. He compared illegal immigrants to animals. Yeah, that's a really good comparison. When your father is being accused of being a racist, you compare your father's so-called wall that Mexico is not going to pay for to a zoo wall, if that wasn't moronic as it is. Yeah, when asked about Schiff's comments in Congress today, Donald Trump called him pencil neck. Now, if you're going to talk about one's looks, last I checked, Donald Trump is not on the front of Fitness magazine. Okay, Donald Trump is not Mr. Good Looking. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that's why Melania married him, right? For his looks. I'm sure it had nothing to do with anything else. Because Melania, I guess that's what she's attracted to men. What is it that Bill Maher said? Bill Maher said that he thought Donald Trump was the son of an orangutan. And then Donald Trump, this was years ago, and then Donald Trump's attorney, I don't know if it was Michael Cohen or not back then, but I would imagine it probably was, went after Bill Maher and tried to sue him, showed Donald Trump was not the son of an orangutan and threatened a lawsuit, which is funny in itself. But if you want to go after somebody's looks and you want to go after somebody for just being a complete clown, that would be easy to do.
Do you know why he did that? Why he showed that he wasn't? Because when you sue somebody for slander or libel, you have to actually prove that is false, and so he had to prove it was false.
No, I understand that, but there's something in this country called comedy sketches. If you watch Saturday Night Live, which clearly Trump does every week, and he attacks Saturday Night Live, it's fun, it's comedy. Okay, did the same thing with other presidents. I want to know what you guys think out there now that we have a few minutes. What do you think of the President of the United States? I seem to ask this question all the time. We talk about John McCain. Now I'm going to talk about Adam Schiff. What do you think about the President of the United States calling Adam Schiff a pencil neck? Because Adam Schiff said, spoke about some things that he didn't necessarily agree with in regards to the meeting with Don Jr. and a bunch of other things on a laundry list of inappropriate things by his standards, whether it's they broke the law or not. What do you think about that? Are you okay with the President of the United States calling Adam Schiff, who most respect a great deal, you can disagree with his politics, seems like a decent man, calling him pencil neck? I'll give out the number if you want to be a part of this conversation. Switching topics here. 257-5396 is the number to call. 702-257-5396. The president seems to do this on a regular basis. The president seems to want to insult people on and on again. And he did an interview yesterday on Sean Hannity's show. He did, I think it was like an hour-long interview. He seems to do interviews with those who kiss the you-know-what of the President of the United States. How about do an hour-long interview with somebody on MSNBC? How about doing an hour-long interview with somebody on CNN? No, but he won't do that. How often do they now do press conferences? How often does Sarah Huckabee Sanders do press conferences? What, once a month? Once every 2 months? It is a joke. But he just wants to continue to insult people, insult our politicians. The number to call, 257-5396. Again, 702-257-5396 is the number to call to be a part of this conversation. Let's go to Justin. Justin, thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Thanks for having me.
Sure.
I just wanted to say there's no collusion. And Adam Schiff took years and years, well, his last year and a half, lying about how he had evidence of collusion, which he didn't. So, I mean, I can understand the president going out and calling him, a nickname or a name because, he sort of deserved it. He lied about the president for a year and a half, and he got away with it.
Okay, well, hold on.
You know, I'm actually a big Trump guy, Justin, and I totally disagree. He didn't have to say that. He could just say, like you just said, he was wrong about this. He claimed this and this and this, and none of it was true. But calling him a pencil neck is beneath the presidency. You have to admit that.
I do. You have a point, though. I mean, you always have a point. I mean, you do. On your show, you do. I can't say you never do, and that's why I'm not disagreeing with you. I just wanted to make a point.
No, Justin, can I ask you? Let me ask you something. And that was my co-host, JD, who actually supports the president. So let me ask you this. When it comes to Adam Schiff, okay, the point he's trying to make is you could make the argument, and it's not against the law, that there was some sort of collusion with Don Jr. I don't know whether Donald Trump knew about that meeting or not, but what we do know is that they met with these Russian oligarchs to try to get dirt on Hillary Clinton. That's collusion. Now, it's not breaking the law, and Robert Mueller said it's not. He didn't have enough in that report, which I still want to see, by the way. Didn't have enough in there to convict the president or, as far as collusion goes. But you have to admit there are people around the president that did collude.
Well, I mean, look at Hillary Clinton. I mean, she colluded with a British guy.
Okay,
right?
but why is it that I bring that up and then you bring up Hillary Clinton? We're not talking about Hillary Clinton.
No, you're right. I mean, you're right to a point to where you could try to argue a little bit to pick up dirt. I get that. I mean, I get that. But you also got to think nobody ever talks about the other side. And that's what I'm getting at.
What do you mean? Fox News talks about the other side 24/7. You ever watch Tucker Carlson?
Right. You got one news network versus like 5.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I think I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I think Emmett.
It looks like Trump has won. It looks like everything he's saying is true. It's time for him to take the high road. It's time to take the high road. It really is.
I do. I agree with that. Well, 100%. You're right. I mean, he is the president of the United States. There is a point where you got to just. You're right. Take the high road. You know, if you wanted something, you got to be bigger.
And I'm going to tell you something, Justin. If you want Donald Trump to win in what is it, 19 months or something like that, I'm telling you, he's going to get more voters, and he'll probably have a much better chance of winning if he does take the high road now. He has enough fans like you, right? But the people that he needs to be concerned with are middle-of-the-road people. Okay, who are undecided voters who are not sure what to do, Justin, and that's the thing. It's important to take the high road. Now, Justin, it's good to hear from you. You made some good points. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm glad you agree with us to an extent as well.
You know, he's going to win in 2020. I'm very confident of that. I've been confident of that for a long time. Me and Dennis have said that several times. But he's still the president of the United States, and statements like this are just embarrassing to the country. Yeah,
I agree. Well, you've taken a new road today. I like it.
This is over. This is basically over, right? Yeah. So what's he doing?
For the most part, there's still might be some other. There's some investigations in New York.
Calling somebody.
Look, the big thing was collusion.
Who was a relative nobody, a pencil neck.
Well, he's not a nobody. He's still a big figure in the Democratic Party.
But this is basically done.
It's below the presidency, and that's my biggest complaint on Donald Trump.
It accomplishes nothing.
It accomplishes nothing. It makes him look bad. If anything, it accomplishes the fact that
just
what
like
I say every day about the guy.
Just like digging up John McCain's grave. Again, it accomplishes nothing.
Right. You're not moving the country forward. Focus on other things. Stop calling people pencil necks. 257-5396. Ray, you're next. Thanks for calling in. What's on your mind?
Yeah, good evening. You can't say that it's collusion when they were doing opposition research on Hillary because she already had a track record of selling uranium to the Russians.
Whatever the track record was, whether Hillary Clinton was an evil, murderous dictator, which she's not, but even if she was, when you try to get dirt from another country, another entity like Russia, and you talk to Russian oligarchs and you have a meeting, and there's proof of which they lied about it, okay? Remember when they said it was about adoption? They lied. Don Jr. lied. Donald Trump lied. That was a complete lie. That meeting wasn't about adoption. It was about getting dirt on Hillary Clinton. And then when they were caught in a lie. Now, to me, and to most logical people that are not biased, that's collusion. Now, is it enough to have broken the law? Is it enough for Robert Mueller to say, okay, I got enough to convict this guy? No, probably not. But in most eyes that are non-biased, that's collusion. And that has nothing to do with Hillary Clinton. It just has to do with the facts. And they lied about it. That was not about adoption, that meeting.
Everybody does opposition research.
Not everybody reaches out to Russian oligarchs and lies about it to the American people.
Ignore Russia. They're one of the largest countries in the world. Everybody has to have an opinion about Russia. Everybody has to deal with Russia, especially as the president of the United, or would-be president.
Right. That's fair enough, Ray, but I will say this, and I appreciate the call. Not everybody has to stand on a stage with an evil, murderous dictator in Vladimir Putin and side with him and act like a buffoon. And you heard what he said up there on that stage with Vladimir Putin. That was a disgrace. Not everybody has to do that. Do you have to deal with Russia? Yes, there are ways of dealing with Russia, just like there are ways of dealing with Kim Jong-un. It's not our job or the president's job to suck up to an evil, murderous dictator. Let's go to David. David, thanks for calling in. How are you, David?
Okay, how you doing?
Doing good. What's on your mind?
What's up, David?
I got two things to say. I do happen to like Trump, but the first thing is, in my opinion, there's absolutely nothing wrong with him calling Schiff a pencil neck. He's just out there having fun with his fans on a campaign rally, and the Democrats have called Trump far worse, like homophobe, all them names, misogynist, a racist. I mean, Bernie Sanders calls him a racist every time he's on TV. So,
well, that's because he says. Well, that's because he says racist things. With all due respect.
Bernie Sanders isn't the president.
He's not a racist. He doesn't say racist things. He's not a racist.
Really? There's good people on both sides in Charlottesville. You're okay with that comment?
Yeah, well, there was good people on both sides because not all of those people were Nazis. Some of those people were just there to protest.
Then he should have said that.
It got out. That got out of hand for sure because you had a lot of bad people there.
The media definitely took that statement out of context.
Okay, but what you said about us Democrats that call him a racist, or let's keep in mind
they've called him so many names: a misogynist, racist, Islamophobe.
Well, let me ask you a question. When someone says grab him,
that's a lot worse than
all right.
pencil neck.
Well, let me ask you a question. Grab him by the P word. Having several ex-wives, being a womanizer, banging a porn star.
Okay.
What would you call somebody like that?
Okay, let's start with the grab him by the P word. First of all, that wasn't meant to be said in public. That was a couple of guys on a bus thinking they were having a private conversation.
So you're okay with it then? You're okay with it then?
I'm not okay with it going public.
What would you call that comment? Is that a misogynistic comment?
But if you take it, when I'm out drunk with my friends, sometimes we say things that we really don't mean, but we're just out there having fun.
Well, you don't have a microphone on you, and you don't. By the way, that was an interview that he was doing. There was a cameraman in there and a microphone. Imagine the things he says behind closed doors when there's no microphone. If that's what he'll say.
No, that was on the bus, and I don't think he knew he was being recorded.
There was a microphone on his shirt, and there was a cameraman in the bus. He is a womanizer. Okay, he is a misogynistic pig, and I will say that every day.
You got to admit, most billionaires are womanizers because
doesn't make it right.
Women do throw themselves at billionaires.
Well,
you have to admit that.
So was JFK. So was FD. I mean, a lot of very, very successful men have been womanizers.
Well, I don't recall JFK ever making a remark like that, and that doesn't make it right, even if that's true.
Right. Well, moving on, I guess we can agree to disagree. But
okay.
I've always voted Democrat until Trump came around because I'm from New York, and most people from New York are Democrats.
I picked up on that.
And by the way, Donald Trump, for all intents and purposes, a few years ago, Donald Trump was a Democrat. I'm sure you'll admit that.
Yes, he was a Democrat. Yes,
right.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
But he realized the only way to win the presidency was to go Republican because Hillary Clinton had a noose around the Democrat
Well,
Party.
look, I'm not a Hillary Clinton. Listen. I'm not a Hillary Clinton defender. You're not going to hear me say anything to defend Hillary Clinton, okay?
No,
but
I'm not criticizing Hillary. I'm just saying Hillary had a noose around the Democratic Party.
Yeah, I understand.
So Trump realized that, so he knew in order for him to win, he had to run as a Republican.
Look, before I let you go, here's what I'm going to say, okay? And I hope we can agree on this one, okay? What we're trying to say here is that, and JD agrees with me on this one, and JD's a Trump supporter. It is beneath the presidency to say and do the things that he does on a daily basis. For example, the tragedy that took place in Puerto Rico, all the people that have died, okay? He goes over there and he throws paper towels at them, okay? Inappropriate. He does inappropriate things like that on a daily basis. Now, look, whether he's a racist or not, I don't know what is in this guy's heart. If the guy just stopped tweeting, and he stopped attacking people that do not like him or disagree with some of his policies, if he focused more on his job, if he stopped lying on a daily basis and just did what he is supposed to do, and that is be the president of the United States, be respectful, stop going after people that disagree with him. Look, a lot of people disagree with Obama. 24/7 on Fox News, people were going after Barack Obama, including Donald Trump.
Not to the extent of what they did to Trump. Let's face it, even a lot of Republicans didn't like Trump because he's not part of the country club. He's not a politician. He's under a lot of pressure, and let's face it, this Mueller thing was nothing but a sham. This Russian collusion is nothing but a sham, and it's destroyed any chance of us having a relationship with Vladimir Putin. Yeah, Vladimir Putin's a bad guy, but he's the leader of the second most powerful country in the world, and he was trying to form a relationship with this guy.
They also interfered in our. Why should we have a relationship with them when they interfered in our election and then our own president?
Well, they're not the only country that interfered with our election.
Didn't say they were.
That's,
I understand. All right.
The Chinese, the Iranians.
I know, but you can't be an apologist for Vladimir Putin. And listen, I appreciate the call. You make some good points. Like you said, we can have these discussions. We can agree to disagree. But I couldn't disagree with you more on this one. And never should it be appropriate that the president of the United States calls somebody pencil neck or go after a POW. We got to take a break. We got to take a quick break because Mike Babcock is coming up next. All right, you're listening to the Vegas Take. Mike Babcock from TMZ next on the all-new 101.5 FM 720 AM KDWN.